Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Titans Tube. This is our Week 8 preview episode of the Titans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Primetime on Thursday night.
Heck yeah.
Color Rush.
Bring it.
That would be tonight if you're watching this video. It's actually tomorrow night if you're making this video.
Correct.
Which is us.
Can you believe it? It's already halfway through the season?
I can't.
Sorry, I interrupted you, but...
I was going to say, speaking of the days... Today, which will actually be yesterday if you're watching this video because it's coming out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But so yesterday / today is your birthday. Happy birthday!
Well, thanks, dude.
All right. Okay.
I don't have a speech.
Into the game.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Are you good? You want more time?
I just like attention.
need some more time?
I'm an attention-craving monster. I'm good now, though. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Thanks for the shout-out.
So everyone wish him happy birthday in the comments, even though by the time you're commenting on this, it will no longer be his birthday.
Yeah, so we may not respond. It's going to be outdated by then.
Yeah. So anyways, tonight, Titans versus Jags at Nissan Stadium.
Let's go.
Division rivals.
It's always a good game when the Titans and Jags play each other, regardless of how well they're playing that year.
So let's get right into it. Let's analyze our opponent, see if we're going to beat them this week. All right, tell us a little bit about the Jags as a team stats.
Really quick, running down through the stats for the Jacksonville Jaguars this year, they are averaging the 17th most passing yards per game in the NFL, so right around the midway point for them. And Blake Bortles in rushing, they're averaging the 30th most yards per game. So that's definitely the weakest part of their team so far this year. 30th in the league, that's good for 76 yards per game for them. And actually, this is a nice little factoid tidbit. We are actually completely mirrored with the Jaguars on defense. They have the 6th fewest passing yards allowed and the 18th fewest rushing yards allowed. The Titans have the 18th fewest passing yards allowed and the 6th fewest rushing yards allowed. That is a mouthful, but
how very interesting.
That is a very
Those are some interesting facts. Okay, let's go over the schedule real fast of the Jags so far this year. They started off with 3 losses. Early on, they lost to the Packers, the Chargers, and then the Ravens in the close one. And then they turned it around, went on a 2-game win streak versus the division rival Colts. And then they beat the lowly Bears barely. And then last week, they lost to the Raiders.
They have not performed that well. Everyone thought they were going to take that next step. They have a crazy amount of talented players, but they just haven't put it together yet. They're sitting here at 2-4.
They really haven't. A lot of people were picking them as kind of like a sleeper team of the AFC South with all the talent in the personnel departments on offense and defense. And yeah, they've just had a very disappointing season so far, which is great for us.
Great for us. Hard to explain. It's not like they're suffering from major injuries or anything, so they still have a lot of potential. So this is no sleepwalk. But yeah, do you want to go ahead and get into the positional breakdowns?
Yes, let's do it. Yes. Starting with the quarterbacks. And probably the number one disappointment for the Jags this year is Blake Bortles. Everyone was kind of picking him to have a breakout year, maybe finish top 10, top 5 quarterbacks in terms of production over the season.
For sure.
So far hasn't panned out. It's not too bad. You did mention they're 17th overall in passing, but people expected them to be better than that. But so far, he's got 9 touchdowns to 9 interceptions on the season. And I heard a stat that I think he has the worst passer rating in the first quarter.
Wow. Slow start. Very surprising for a guy that threw 35 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, even though he's already got 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns, I feel like the stats are a little bit skewed because a lot of that has come in garbage time. Not trying to diss Blake Bortles or anything.
I mean, he's talented. He's got a big arm.
He is. But he's still a really young quarterback, though. Has a lot to learn. But definitely potential. Definitely the physical talent of an NFL quarterback. So that's Bortles. We know he's capable of, though. Very strong arm and above average athleticism. He will take off and scramble, and
he's big.
Clutch situations.
Hard to bring down.
Hard to bring down. Definitely kind of like a Ben Roethlisberger type. Body type. So
good comparison.
Gotta watch out for that.
Now, a lot of talent though.
As for Mariota's coming off not a terrible game.
Looking at Mariota's stat line for the past 3 games, they're actually really good passing the ball. I think he has 8 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 rushing touchdown. So 9 touchdowns over 3 games and 1 interception, but he did have that fumble lost to the Colts that sealed the deal last week.
But come on, 9 touchdowns compared to 2 turnovers? That's a really good ratio. So I think Mark is still on that hot streak. He's had a problem with accuracy that showed up a few times last week, but we talked about this in our podcast. I think his accuracy just is directly correlated to the flow of the offense, and our offense and our defense last week was just completely thrown out of rhythm. So just based on so far this year, I think Mariota's had a better year so far, especially in the last few games.
Better than Bortles, you mean?
Yeah, better than Bortles. Definitely trending up, getting better every game. Yeah, he misses a few throws here and there, but we're starting to see a little more out of him. Starting to see the deep ball. Saw it a few games ago. Starting to see him run more. I like where he's going. I like the progression I'm starting to see in the season. So I'm going to give the advantage to Mariota.
Anywho, moving on to RBs.
Let's get it going. Jacksonville does not like to run the ball.
They hate it. They despise it. It makes them sick.
And no wonder. I mean, look at their group of running backs. TJ Yeldon. Blake Bortles is right now their second leading rusher on the team.
And has a better yard per carry average by over 2 yards than everyone else.
Yes. Chris Ivory's hurt, so we don't have to worry about him right now. And then Denard Robinson, who was decent a few years ago, in a few games at least, but no real rushing threats. And I know TJ Yeldon has some skills, but they just don't like to run it a lot. 60 attempts, he's only got 200 yards in the year, and big stat, he's only averaging 3.3 yards a carry. Anyways, that is pretty poor though. Only 76 yards a game, and it looks like Blake Bortles is getting a chunk of those just from scrambles. He's averaging 20 yards a game. So if you take that away, their running backs are only averaging 50 yards a game, and only at 3 yards a carry. Yeldon is a young guy, and he did have some big plays against us last year. So,
he did.
Like I said, that potential's there. They have the capability of doing it. They just haven't been doing it so far this year.
For some reason.
You know what has been doing it, though? Our run game. We talk about this every week, and every week it stays true.
It does.
We're tearing it up, man. DeMarco Murray.
Killing it.
DeMarco Murray. What a trade in the offseason for Murray. Once again, went over 100 yards last week on
I love it.
25 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown.
Oh my gosh. He's so good. He has 7 touchdowns in 7 games.
So I think you guys knew it before we even went into this. Obviously, advantage lies with the Titans as in terms of run game, not only from personnel in the backfield, but our whole run game across the board, offensive line, run blocking, run production, way better.
Yep, for sure.
Check mark Titans.
Give us that check.
Let's go. Let's pound it against them tonight.
Pound.
Now, onto probably the Jags' best category, I would say.
Where their talent is thriving with crazy potential and current grades.
Should we say should be thriving? They're not thriving.
Yeah.
But they have some extremely talented wide receivers out there.
And tight ends.
Young wide receivers. Allen Hurns, Allen Robinson.
What is going on with the Allen brothers? These guys were 2 1,000-yard receivers last year. Didn't they both top 1,000 yards?
I don't know.
I think they did.
That's a bold statement.
We're going to fact check that. I know Allen Robinson did. These two guys have crazy good talent. They could be the starting 2 receivers on a lot of teams, I feel like, in the National Football League. The number 3 receiver, I guess you could say, on that team is Marquise Lee, who is currently leading their team in receptions.
Hurns and Robinson are big play receivers. Obviously, we saw that last year when Blake Bortles tore us up at home for 5 touchdowns. I think 2 of those went to...
I think 3 went to Robinson.
3, yeah, you're right. 3 went to Robinson. So they're kind of a thorn in the side of the flesh for the Titans. A thorn in the flesh. So we have to watch out for that. This could be the game they get it going, especially against our weak secondary.
Yeah, and if T.Y. Hilton and McPoyley tore us up last week, I don't want to even try to think about what 2 Allens and a Marquise Lee could do. Not to mention, they have 2 tight ends that are very capable of making plays as well. Julius Thomas, everyone knows what he did in Denver a few years ago with Peyton Manning. Has struggled with some injuries, but he's still a very talented tight end for him. And then the old, wily veteran Mercedes Lewis, who has been there for like 50 years. Just kidding, it's been like 10 years. But he is an old veteran tight end who still has some skill, good pass catcher, good blocker, can do it all. Yeah, they've got some weapons, dude.
They do. They have very strong, talented personnel in terms of receivers, which is slightly lacking in terms of the Titans. If you look at our receivers, especially, you know, we were hyping them up last week in our preview episode when Kendall Wright went off,
and then he went
against the Browns, and then where did he completely disappear last week? Tajay Sharp finally kind of got back into it last week. I like to see that.
Good contested catches.
Rashard Matthews has definitely been on the upswing. Started off the season a little slow, but the past few games he's been stepping it up. Delaney had a nice game. So we have some good receivers.
We do.
I don't think you can compare him to the kind of talent that the Jags have at the receiving game. And tight end, I don't know. Delaney might have the edge on Julius Thomas now. We'll call tight ends pretty even, but yeah, receiving core across the board.
Yeah, putting the whole pass catching category into one.
We're going to have to give the advantage to the Jaguars.
And honestly, I don't even think it's close. I think far and away they have the talent and potential.
Let's go to the defense.
Talk about that Jags D, led by veteran Paul Postlesny, nice name, who has been leading their team in tackles for many seasons now. He's a consistent mainstay leader on that defensive side of the ball.
Out of Penn State, right?
I think you're right. I'm not totally positive about that, but
so
sounds right.
We knew he would like tackling boys.
True. Also, another solid linebacker, Telvin Smith, very skilled linebacker. And, of course, they have that rookie, Jalen Ramsey, plays for the Jaguars, brought his attitude with him, has been saying a lot of things and getting some personal foul penalties.
You know what? Matchup of the week, Jalen Ramsey covering our new number 1 wide receiver, Taylor Lewan.
Oh,
we forgot to throw him into the receiving category.
Yeah. I think that gives us almost an edge, but I think the Jags still.
If you're looking at pass-catching offensive line, we have the advantage for sure.
We need to make a new category for that. Other players in their defense, the Malik Jackson on that defensive line they got from Denver.
Dante Fowler Jr.
Prince
Amukamara, let's not get him. He was a high draft pick for the Giants back in the day. I don't think he ever lived up to his potential, but the dude's still got talent, and he's still young.
Yeah, still
he can play.
Talent.
He can play, and one of the top names in the NFL, Prince Amukamara. How fun is that to say?
Prince Amukamara.
Another
high-profile free agent that they got from the Browns was Tashawn Gibson, this free safety. So the Jaguars, lots of high-round draft picks on defense, lots of high-profile free agents they picked up this offseason that we just mentioned. A lot of young talent back there. They are currently number 9 in the NFL in total defense, whereas the Titans are 10th. So if you think the Titans are pretty decent at defense, the Jaguars are a little step better as far as the stats go.
Slightly better. I got nothing left to say. Let's talk a little bit about the Titans defense, though. Struggled last week, and I think people are starting to find out that our defense goes how our pass rush goes. Yes. And I know you have heard us say this time and time again, week after week. If we can't get to the quarterback, we are greatly exposed. It happened last week, and Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton tore us up because we just don't have the talent in the secondary right now to be able to cover great receivers. It's extremely worrisome when you look at the matchup against the Jags and their receiving group this week. So I'm going to say it again. It lies with our pass rush. Arakpo's had a great year. Third in the league right now in sacks. Derek Morgan's been coming on. Yeah. So we have to generate this pass rush, and I'm saying I think that's going to be the key to the game, especially now that we're down one of our starting cornerbacks in Parrish Cox out with a concussion. That's going to be more and more important to get that pass rush going early and often, and to keep it going all day. We have to keep pressure on Blake Bortles. In terms of just personnel and overall defense, like we said, they are 9th, slightly ahead of the Titans in terms of production.
Yep.
And then if you look at personnel, gosh, I think you have to give the edge to the Jags. It's kind of a no-brainer there.
Yeah, I think it's close. It is close. I think we're going to just go ahead and give the slight edge to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Got to.
There are rivals, but I think this is a good, healthy rivalry.
I do too. It's not like a rivalry with the Colts because I loathe the Colts, man. I hate them. I would like to see their whole franchise just dissipate into that world and just not be a part of the NFL anymore. But the Jags, I like playing the Jags. It is a good rivalry, probably because they've really been bad the past few years.
Yeah, just like us.
Just like
and
us.
we split the season series every year.
So we just kind of make a deal with them, like, hey, you win a game, and then we'll win a game, just to give our fans a little morale boost.
No, thank you.
Well, I'm going with the Titans. I think we're gonna take it though. I think we're gonna come through, really kind of win as a team. I got 31-17.
I was gonna go the other way as far as not high scoring. I think their defense is gonna make some plays, and our offense is gonna look a little shaky here and there. But I do think we'll get the win, 20-17. Kind of a boring standard score. I think we're going to get a field goal, and then the Jags are going to have enough time to tie it up, like a minute and a half, but our defense is going to come through and make
just
that
like
game
against the
saving
Lions. Okay, well, those are our predictions. Guess what? The Xbox is fixed. So you know what that means.
All right.
We get to play some more Madden.
Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, look, we're already set for it. So yeah, we're going to go back to our Madden challenge this week. And since we're a little pissed off about the last time we lost to my wife when she played as the Raiders, we're going to bring her back on and make her play as the Jags because we really want to beat her. And
we
get
need that
some
revenge. Yes.
And I think she's been practicing Madden, so I want to see if she's gotten better.
Has she?
She hasn't gotten better.
I hope she has not.
I don't know. We're pretty bad. Back again this week with the Madden challenge. Go check it out, and we'll see you on the field tonight. Let's go, Titans.
Look for us at the game. No, you did one. I double.
Hot, set in motion, Kindle right.
Definitely have to play sight. Spin move.
Oh, dang, dude, I had to block down field for you.